This is News 8 Now, this morning.
It's always going to be a combination of education, enforcement. There's even engineering components to it in terms of making the roadways safer or designing roadways in a way that might prevent more serious crashes.
It's all made possible because people in our community support public education and want to see students in our district have excellent educational experiences.
They're meant to be a safer environment for the firefighters and to add privacy and to update a lot of the things that we didn't have 70, 80 years ago.
Because it's going to be just a huge expression of joy, and it's so wonderful for everyone on stage and in the audience to come together and share the time in the space and share this story.
And that was your eye opener. Good morning, everybody, and thanks for watching News 8 Now this morning. I'm Ken Kozarowski. That's Derek Sibley. It's Friday, December 9th, 2022, and it is an alert day in the world of weather. A lot of blue in that background behind Derek. So potential for school closings and delays. We've got those coming up on the bottom of your screen, as well as some difficult commute conditions, especially in our southern communities right now. Let's get the latest from Derek.
All right, thanks for that, Ken. Yeah, as you mentioned, today is an alert day because we are looking at snow that continues to move in. In fact, we got heavy snow that continues to move in across our southern zones. And if we go a little bit further towards the central zones this morning, maybe not quite as heavy, at least yet, but we are looking at some of that snow beginning to move in across our central regions. And now, as we speak, La Crosse County starting to get into the thick of things now. In fact, we're starting to see visibilities reduce in La Crosse County because of that snowy weather that continues to move in across the area associated with this low pressure system that we've been tracking here over the last several days. And all of this is moving in our general direction here for us to work with, unfortunately, today as far as that snow goes. Visibilities, again, they are lowering because as the snow moves in, that's going to reduce the visibility mileage. And you can see about 1 mile here for many locations around our south zones here for us this morning. Hey, at least the good news, we're about 15 to 20 degrees warmer here this morning out ahead of the system that's bringing us the snow. Current temperatures into the 20s and 30s. City Cam 8, yeah, you can see it's very gloomy out there, and the snowy weather is going to continue to move in throughout the morning here. It's really not until around the afternoon here today, Ken, where we start to see the snow begin to wind down, and then clouds are just going to basically take over as far as that weather dominant weather pattern here as we head towards the afternoon, late afternoon to early evening.
All right, but in the meantime, we are going to be in the thick of it this morning. Thanks, Derek.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it from the man himself. Snow is coming, and since we're expecting at least a few inches of snow, the city of La Crosse is putting alternate side parking into effect. So a reminder for drivers, on odd-numbered days, park on the side of the road with odd-numbered addresses. On even-numbered days, park on the side of the road with even-numbered addresses. Those rules stay in effect for the full snow emergency. Now, the city say they will notify the public 6 hours before a snow emergency is declared. You can get those notifications in your email, through text, or by keeping an eye on the city's social media pages. We have a link on how you can sign up for alerts at news8000.com. A quick reminder to be checking the bottom of your screen this morning to see if your school has any delays or closings. Your school superintendent is tasked with submitting up-to-date information to our school closings page on our website, and then we relay everything that's submitted to there on the bottom of your screen. So if you don't see your school on the screen either today or during future bad weather days, reach out to your school administrator to make sure that they're submitting information to us here at News 8. And a helpful tool to prep for your morning commute is 511wi.gov. The Wisconsin DOT is constantly updating this interactive map with road conditions. This time of year, just click the box labeled winter road conditions and you'll see what condition they're in. They're color-coded. Right now, of course, pretty much all of Crawford County major roads are snow covered. Those are the blue colors. Slippery is purple, red, ice covered. So a lot of our community feeling the impacts on the travel front. A new AAA study shows that unsafe driving has been on the rise over the past 2 years. Most of that behavior comes from people driving under the influence. The NHTSA reports that nearly 43,000 people died in car accidents in 2021. That's a more than 10% increase from 2020. Driving experts say spreading awareness is going to be key.
It's always going to be a combination of education, enforcement. There's even engineering components to it in terms of making the roadways safer or designing roadways in a way that might prevent more serious crashes.
AAA recommends being up to date on all insurance, being mindful of other drivers out there, and keeping a crash emergency kit in your vehicle. After a unanimous vote in Common Council Thursday night, the City of La Crosse will take over animal control duties in 2023. The city's existing animal control agreement with the Coulee Region Humane Society will come to an end. The Common Council approved the purchase of a vehicle, and the city will hire one animal control officer. If residents need help with an animal in the City of La Crosse, they'll have to call the city's non-emergency number. Coulee Region Humane Society will be able to take strays during open hours, but after hours, you'll have to contact city police. Also, CRHS will not be able to license pets of La Crosse residents at their facility. Pet owners must go to City Hall. According to a spokesperson for the city, these changes were made for budgetary reasons. This is only for the City of La Crosse. CRHS will continue to provide full services to the rest of La Crosse County. We'll have more on this new agreement at news8000.com. Community members in Black River Falls will have to find a new way to get around town. The city's rideshare service ended last week. News 8 Now's Dua Israr spoke to a city official who says the service was an important part of the community.
In the age of technology, getting from one place to another can be as simple as pressing a button on an app or making a call.
We had about 20,000 rides that were given. In the past, 2019 was our peak. We were offering about 40,000 rides at that time.
For the community of Black River Falls, that's no longer an option. The city's rideshare taxi service was operated by Mobility Transformation. On December 1st, the company told city officials it was shutting down.
Their explanation was that it just wasn't financially feasible any longer.
City Administrator Brad Chown says many people in the community relied on the service.
Senior and disabled that rely on the taxi service to get to doctor's appointments, get to the grocery store.
Although the service may be gone for now,
People are making do right now.
the city is hoping to bring the program back.
FDS Enterprises, the company that previously operated our shared ride taxi service.
FGS Enterprises agreed to negotiate with MTI and buy the company. MTI has verbally agreed, but the agreement is not official.
Right around that $400,000 mark is going to be the total contract cost.
Chown says the city also reached out to the Wisconsin Department of Transportation for state rideshare grants.
So the taxpayer liability for the shared ride taxi service in Black River Falls is about $70,000 a year.
Chown says while people wait for a new service, the community has come together.
The county and other local organizations really stepped up to offer rides to these folks.
So that everyone can get to their destination. Reporting in Black River Falls, Dua Israr, News 8 Now.
Thanks very much, Dua. City officials will hold a public hearing Wednesday, December 21st about the rideshare service. Construction is on schedule for La Crosse's new Fire Station 4. If you've driven by the new station on La Crosse Street, you've probably seen the bright red doors. Assistant Fire Chief Jeff Murphy says this new station will get firefighters closer to the calls that they serve, and it has more perks for first responders.
They're meant to be a safer environment for the firefighters and to add privacy and to update a lot of the things that we didn't have 70, 80 years ago.
Murphy also says this new location will make training easier. Construction expected to wrap up in March. Local teachers and students are getting plenty of opportunities to make a difference this winter. Through the Gold Star Grant Program, the La Crosse Public Education Foundation is helping support La Crosse schools. These grants will allow students at all grade levels in the district to learn some new skills and ideas. There are 23 total grants available, ranging from art projects to a new set of books. Organizers say it's all thanks to the community.
That's all made possible because people in our community support public education and want to see students in our district have excellent educational experiences.
During a surprise visit, Longfellow Middle School teachers received 2 different grants. The school earned a $1,200 grant to hire a local artist in residence and a $5,800 grant to bring award-winning author K.A. Holt to share a presentation. Longfellow's librarian says she's grateful the grant can give students the opportunity to connect more with their creative side.
To see a little bit more how somebody's creative process works, that can really help students get excited about their own creative writing and also just really fall in love with reading and books. That is one of our goals as librarians in the School District of La Crosse.
The total funding for the grants is just under $45,000. You Can't Stop the Beat. The national tour of the Broadway musical Hairspray is coming to the Fine Arts Center, but Viterbo needs the community's help. They're seeking crew members ages 18 and up, even if you have no past theater experience. Training will be provided if you need it. Wages range from $16 to $25 an hour depending on the position and level of experience. If interested, we have a link to an interest form at news8000.com. You can catch the magic of the holiday season this weekend at Viterbo's Fine Arts Center. The La Crosse Dance Center's 33rd annual performance of the Nutcracker starts today, with 95 cast members of all ages bringing the classic story to life. Work on each show begins in August, and director Nikki Balsamo says it's been wonderful to watch.
Because it's going to be just a huge expression of joy, and it's so wonderful for everyone on stage and in the audience to come together and share the time in the space and share the story.
Balsamo says some of the dancing looks different this year, but it's the same familiar holiday story. If you'd like to see the show, you can buy tickets at the Viterbo box office or online. We've got a link with more info at news8000.com. Bringing home some happiness, the Coulee Region Humane Society and Best Friends Animal Society are teaming up for National Adoption Weekend. Starting today through December 18th, you can name your price for all kittens, cats, and dogs older than 6 months. The promotion also includes small animals like bunnies and guinea pigs. To participate in the event, you'll need to fill out an application as well as get approved. Time is 6:10 a.m. this morning. Still ahead on your morning news, the FTC is suing tech company Microsoft to block the purchase of a video game company. We'll explain why. And we look back on the top Google searches from 2022. We'll get to see what topics interested people the most. Can't wait for that. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Christmas season is here, and with that comes your favorite Christmas movies. Everyone's got a favorite, of course, and many passionate about them. The Google Trends suggests the U.S. might agree on something. One film remains a favorite for nearly 80% of the nation, and it's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, a classic indeed. If you're wondering what Wisconsin's favorite movie is, it's also Christmas Vacation. Probably one of those movies I could quote from start to finish. Definitely a Christmas tradition for my family. We also got to throw Elf in the mix. That would probably be the top two for sure. Don't go anywhere. More News 8 Now this morning coming up after the break.
As you just saw there from City Cam 8, the visibilities are being reduced, and that is from the snow that continues to move in. The heaviest activity is still concentrated across our southern zones, but as we move to our central zones, you can see the snow here still coming down here as well. The heavy stuff is just about entering La Crosse County now, so just be aware of that here as you head out for the morning commute, with temperatures here this morning as you head outside into the upper 20s to low 30s. Let's get a check now on your zone forecast in La Crosse County. High temperatures today warming up into the mid 30s. We're looking at 35 here today in Holmen, 36 in Hillsboro, and as we head to our south, 36 today in Gays Mills and 33 in Viroqua. It'll be 36 in Lafarge today. Highs reach 36 in Melrose and 35 in Alma Center. Going to be about 35 today in Osseo, with highs reaching the mid 30s across the north zones. It'll be 36 in Eau Claire with some snow here as well. Schoolcast for the morning, 29 degrees, some heavy snow here likely, 34 by the lunch hour, still looking snowy there. By the afternoon, the snow begins to taper off. Temperatures will be around 36 degrees at dismissal. I'll be back with another check on the full weather forecast. Still to come in weather.
The Federal Trade Commission is suing to block Microsoft's purchase of the video game company Activision Blizzard. The $69 billion deal would make Microsoft the third largest video game publisher in the world. They claim Microsoft would hold too much power in the industry. The FTC says the company would also be able to harm competition, negatively affect price, player experience, and game quality. Now, Microsoft argues the deal would actually create more opportunities for games and developers. Apple is no longer launching a controversial tool that would have iOS devices check for child sexual abuse material. The tech giant first announced the feature in 2021 in the hopes of combating child exploitation and promoting safety. The proposal actually received a wave of criticism for potential privacy implications. So instead, Apple is now planning to refocus its efforts on its communication safety feature. The tool warns minors and their parents if an incoming image is sexually explicit. Typing into Google gives the tech giant a unique perspective into what people are thinking these days. Elise Preston has a look at what was on America's minds this year.
The top trending Google search in 2022 can be summed up in a word. Yes, we're talking about the widely popular game Wordle, which gives players 6 chances to guess the word of the day.
I feel like it popped up out of nowhere and everyone was obsessed within like a day or so.
Totally. It became one of those viral games. Yes, lots of questions about how to play, but also some searches that make me think people might be cheating.
Google's Sarah Armstrong says the second top trending search was election results as people looked for the midterm winners. Those we lost rounded out the top 5: Queen Elizabeth, Betty White, and Bob Saget.
I have never struck a woman in my life.
In Google's People category, thanks to the Depp v. Heard defamation trial, actor Johnny Depp took the top spot, with ex-wife Amber Heard occupying number 3. Will Smith was the second most searched person. He went viral after slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars.
Good morning, aviators.
Tom Cruise's Top Gun Maverick landed in Google's number 3 spot for most searched movies.
Jane?
Thor: Love and Thunder was second, with the animated film Encanto on top. COVID queries are still common, including PCR tests near me. But a lot of people are thinking about fuel cost.
This year was gas prices near me that made the very top of the near me list. Those gas prices skyrocketed this year.
Now, Americans were also looking for ways to lend a hand. The phrase "how to help" hit an all-time high in 2022, a search trend that may offer some optimism heading into next year.
Well, we continue to watch the snowy weather move in across the Cooley region. Most of the heavier snow is focused down to the south, and if we move a little bit further north across our central zones, we're starting to tap into some of the heavy snow here now as well. In fact, we're watching the visibility is being reduced now in La Crosse. But if we widen out the view, you can see that we're still dealing with this low pressure system that has been responsible really for bringing us the snowy weather here this morning. See all the rain here now moving its way towards the east in the general direction of Chicago, but a lot of us here across the Cooley region looking at that snowy weather here across our area. CityCam 8 showing a very poor start to the visibility here this morning. You're going to need to make sure that you're giving yourself plenty of extra time on the roadways and also kind of reduce your braking distance and turn on those low beam headlights. You'll need it here for your morning commute. 31 degrees and snowy are the current conditions in La Crosse. 4.77 feet is our river stage, which is rising to the north in Eau Claire. Cloudy skies here, 26 degrees. No snow here yet. A feel-like temperature of 18 degrees, though. Visibility looking good, though, at around 10 miles. Temperature changes over the last 24 hours, much warmer, about 10 to 20 degrees warmer. On a positive note there, with current temperatures here into the upper 20s to low 30s. We're looking at 30 degrees now. Good morning to you in Winona, with highs today reaching those mid-30s. Going to be 35 in Sparta today, with a high of 36 in Black River Falls. Day planner here for the morning will continue to remain snowy with temperatures at 30 degrees. Snowy weather continues around noon, temperatures at 34, and then we're pretty much cloudy throughout the rest of the afternoon and also into the early evening. So you can see the snow will continue to move its way towards the north, and again, some of this may turn heavy at times between now and around 8 o'clock in the morning, especially as we head to around noon. We'll start to see evidence of the snow tapering off here a little bit, but still looking snowy in some spots, and then by 3 o'clock, a couple of leftover snow showers, mainly focused off to the east of us. Looking at mainly cloudy skies here for the rest of the day as we head toward the early evening and also into the overnight hours here as well. Now, we'll be watching a little bit of a weak disturbance that could move into the area. That could give us a little bit of light rain, maybe even some snow here to the north starting tomorrow morning. And then a few snow showers are possible as we head to around the afternoon, right around that 1 o'clock hour or so. A few snow showers and rain here off towards the east around the 6 o'clock hour. All right, so we do have winter weather advisories in effect here for much of the area. This is until around 3 o'clock today for much of the Cooley region. Anywhere you see highlight is under that winter weather advisory, and that's because snowfall totals are expected to be a little significant around here. 2 to 4 inches for La Crosse, 1 to 3 inches here just north of that. Coatings here, possible maybe about a trace or so up towards Eau Claire. 4 to 6 inches down south, which does include you in Prairie du Chien, probably looking at the most snow out of the rest of us here today. 8-day forecast showing that we will be looking at a chance of a light wintry mix here for tomorrow. Otherwise, cloudy skies for Sunday and Monday. High temperatures around 40 degrees and a chance of rain, snow Tuesday and also into Wednesday with highs into those upper 30s, lows into the 20s and 30s. Stay with us, though. Much more news and weather still to come here on News 8 Now this morning. We are taking a quick break with a look at what happened on this day in history for December 9th. We'll be right back. Well, snow continues to move in across the Coulee region, and some of this is a little heavy here across our southern zones. This is also moving into our central zones now as well from the south, and you can see it moving its way towards the north here as well. So watch out for some snowy weather that could impact your morning commute. Current temperatures are into the upper 20s to low 30s with 31 in La Crosse and 26 though in Eau Claire. Snowy weather here for the dog walking forecast, so that may affect you and your furry friend here out there this morning. A few snow showers could linger into the afternoon, and then cloudy skies here by the evening. Stay tuned for another check on your commute forecast. That's next in weather.
Welcome to the Blitz. High school athletes were hard at work last night all throughout the Coulee region, but we'll start on the hardwood. The season is just getting started, but we had a big non-conference matchup going down at Onalaska High School. The Hilltoppers at home hosting Caledonia. Onalaska up 15 at the break, and in the third, the home team having its way on the break. TJ Stutley, a dime to Nikki Odom for the lay-in. Hilltoppers go up 44-27, and Stutley wasn't done later in the half. Off the miss, the sophomore getting dirty down low, grabs the board, puts it back up and in. 18-point lead for Onalaska, and the Hilltoppers' hot shooting continues. This time it's Odom showing off the range, knocking down the corner three. Onalaska up 23, and then later on it's Odom returning the favor to Stutley. Great find down low for the easy score. He had 22 in this one. Hilltoppers roll 88-60. On the girls' side, La Crescent Hoka at home hosting Luther early on in this one. The Knights looking good. Allie Zittel from way downtown, she's going to knock it down. Luther goes up by 3, and then the Knights going to work down low. Mackenzie Van Loon working the post, putting it in. It's a 5-point lead for Luther, but here come the Lancers. Amber Stegen down low goes off the glass. That cuts it back to 2. Then later in the half, great no-look pass from Molly Bills. Stegen pays it off. Lancers get a big win at home, 52-47. Let's hit the ice. The La Crescent Hoka boys hockey team playing host to Aquinas Holman. Pick it up first period. Avalanche on the move. Tanner Bass weaving his way through traffic, and he gets his squad on the board. Aquinas Holman strikes first. It's 1-0. Later in the period, Avalanche on the power play off the miss. Casey Keene, right place, right time on the rebound. He puts it in to make it 2-0. But how about this? The Lancers come all the way back. They force OT, and La Crescent Hoka wins it in overtime by a final of 5-4. NCAA women's volleyball tournament continuing last night. The Badgers are moving on. Wisconsin surviving a scare against Penn State. Badgers took the first 2, Penn State forcing a 5th set, but Wisconsin holds on in 5, and for the 5th straight year, the Badgers are heading to the regional final. They'll play Pittsburgh on Saturday with a trip to the Final Four on the line. That'll do it for sports. We'll see you tonight.
Breaking overnight, Brittany Griner's release has some raising concerns about the famous Russian arms dealer who was part of the deal. Prisoner swaps can be a challenging task for diplomatic leaders, and this swap for Griner is no different. Griner was exchanged for Russian arms dealer Victor Bout. U.S. law enforcement had widely celebrated the late 2000s capture of the so-called merchant of death, and his conviction had a minimum 25-year prison sentence. President Biden, meanwhile, has vowed to continue fighting for the release of Marine veteran Paul Whelan, who has been in prison in Russia since 2018, and Russians refused to give him up in this Griner-Bout deal. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday attending a meeting of the Supreme Eurasian Economic Council in Bishkek. He was joined by the leaders of multiple countries who are also members of the council. That council aims to promote free trade, coordinate member states' financial systems, and regulate their industrial and agricultural policies. A new national policy looks like it's coming soon for blood donations. It would allow more people to give and likely save more lives. David Schumann shows us how some Minnesotans are helping lead the charge for change.
There's a group of people you're less likely to find in blood donation centers: gay men. An FDA rule from the 80s banned them from doing what many feel is an important good deed.
It's a vital need for our community, and it's something easy I can do to help.
The policy was aimed at reducing the spread of HIV, and while the blanket ban has given way to looser restrictions, the FDA is now looking at getting rid of those rules altogether. For one, blood can be reliably tested for HIV now, although it's not perfect. As an alternative to broad rules about gay men, the FDA would likely move to asking every donor narrower questions about their HIV risk levels. That's what Canada, Italy, and the UK do.
It's more precise, or we hope it's more precise, It's not uninvasive. You are asking people about their sex lives.
The Minnesota Department of Health endorses scrapping the rules about gay men. MDH signed on to a national letter addressed to the FDA that said the policy unnecessarily restricts the eligible donor population and is ineffective, unnecessary, and discriminatory.
Now, the current policy requires gay men to wait 3 months after sexual contact before they can donate blood. Walgreens has launched a free home delivery program for the COVID-19 oral antiviral therapy drug Paxlovid. The service, launched Thursday, is in partnership with DoorDash and Uber Health and available to those with a prescription. It's in response to the White House's call for pharmacies to help make winter healthier for Americans. It's available to more than 90% of the U.S. population, and it comes as COVID-19 hospitalizations are on the rise nationwide. Thousands of children won't get a chance to celebrate the holidays at home with their families because they're undergoing intense medical treatment. Michael George explains how many hospitals now offer a way to help make their holidays a little brighter.
Jinx. Oh, I jinxed you.
8-year-old Aiden Schaefer has spent a lot of time in hospitals. He was diagnosed with leukemia at the age of 2.
You can't imagine. Your whole world crumbles. They're words that you never want to hear, that your child has cancer.
Denise and Patrick Schaefer say spending the holidays in a hospital room with Aiden and his brother Mason can be especially tough.
You try and do the best you can to make them feel normal. Meanwhile, as parents, we're crying inside, but you're making them happy so that they don't realize everything that's going on.
Mount Sinai's Kravis Children's Hospital launched a donation wish list to help kids undergoing treatment. Anyone can go on their website and choose gifts to donate to young patients. Last year, the hospital received more than 2,000 toys, enough for parents to find just what their child wants.
Caregivers don't have to worry about running out to the store, getting that it toy or getting that item that their child has been wishing for.
It's a small gesture, but it can have a big impact, helping relieve the stress and anxiety children face in the hospital, especially during the holidays. Director of Patient and Family-Centered Care Diane Rohde says many children's hospitals offer similar programs.
Anyone in the country can check out their local children's hospital and look up the child life department in that hospital and learn the ways that they can be involved and engaged.
Denise says the gifts have meant a lot to Aiden.
Because of everything that Aiden's received, he wanted to be Santa in the hospital himself. And he wanted to be able to give out presents to other kids because of how it made him feel.
Donations that spread joy and help make a child's holiday wishes come true.
Such a great idea. The program's administrators say their biggest need for donations is for infants and teenagers. They recommend you call your local children's hospital to ask how you can help. Now, the head of the UW system is at odds with UW-Platteville-Richland students. It's been a little over 2 weeks since students got the announcement that in-person instruction would come to a close. In response, students delivered a petition with more than 1,300 signatures to the UW Board of Regents at Thursday, asking them to save in-person classes at their campus. Students say they need the campus because it helps offer education to those in Richland County.
It offers higher education to the people in Richland County who might not have otherwise had the chance to start college.
The UW system president reassured students that they're prepared to keep at least some kind of UW system presence at the Richland campus, even if it's through online-only classes and enrichment programs. Building tracks to Madison. On Thursday, residents of Madison started pointing out where they would like to see an Amtrak station potentially set up shop. There are 6 locations identified to welcome 4 daily stops from Chicago and Milwaukee, including the UW campus where the current depot is and Dane County Airport. While Amtrak is looking for space to build, community members are also thinking about the environmental impact it'll have on the city.
For example, the downtown area, is that area going to be harder to keep dry? You know, as we do need some kind of projection as to the effects of climate change in the coming decades here if we're going to build something that's going to be here for the next half a century.
Always a major concern with Madison essentially being an isthmus. There will be 2 more public meetings, with one in February and one in April. And the community hopes to have a recommendation for Amtrak by those meetings. The iconic Wienermobile is making its way through Wisconsin this week. Margaret Cahill caught up with the 27-foot hot dog in Appleton.
Okay, let's hit the hot dog highways.
A 27-foot hot dog isn't something you see every day on your commute. But for the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile hot doggers,
oh yeah, look at the people smiling.
this is just another day on the job.
And our drive days can range from anywhere to 3 hours to 10 hours.
Ketchup Caitlin and Benny Buns are the Midwest crew.
As we're cruising along, a very important job is to make sure that you wave at everybody that we pass. And if anyone gives you one of these for a honk, you gotta let me know.
And for Caitlin, who studied at Marquette University in Milwaukee, this week in the Dairy State feels like a homecoming.
Bringing the Wienermobile to Milwaukee feels like home. I know the streets there like the back of my hand. And I've gotten to take my friends, my boyfriend, even some family friends around in the Wienermobile, and it's so special.
The Wienermobile program is based out of Madison, Wisconsin, and the hot doggers say it's been a hit statewide.
They are so excited about the Wienermobile because it's part of their culture and their heritage, because we're based out of here.
The hot doggers start right out of college, and Caitlin and Ben say the nomadic life of driving for hours and staying in hotels is just the adventure they were looking for.
It is amazing, knowing that every day that we wake up and just by driving our vehicle to go get groceries or go run errands, we're sparking smiles, really fills you up with energy every day.
One of my favorite memories on the Hot Dog Highway so far was getting to be the getaway car for a couple at their wedding in Columbia, South Carolina. They were huge hot dog fans, and we knew how much they wanted the Wienermobile at their wedding, so we made the magic happen.
After a week in Wisconsin, these chili dogs are headed to North Dakota. Jingling all the way.
Now, there are 3 Oscar Mayer Wienermobiles in Wisconsin. Later today, the Wienermobiles will be taking trips to Oshkosh, Fond du Lac, as well as Pewaukee.
Well, we continue to track the snowy weather across the Coulee region, and you can see a lot of the heavier snow is still focused off towards the south in the general direction of the Prairie du Chien area, now moving its way north into Viroqua. And yes, it's now pushing its way even as far north as La Crosse, and there's still some snowy weather still spreading its way across our central zones this morning here too. So we're going to be watching this here for you throughout the morning, especially because that's when the bulk of the snow here will be moving in, all associated with this low pressure system that we're keeping our eyes on here just off to our southwest across southwestern Iowa. And you can see out ahead of it, it is spawning a lot of snow here across the Coulee region as it continues to move our way. City Cam 8 right now looking a little bit gloomy out there, probably noticing some snow on the roads and the sidewalks. So you want to make sure that you're giving yourself plenty of time here for your morning commute. Let's get a check now on the current weather conditions. 30 degrees currently with that snowy weather here now. Visibility being reduced to about a mile, and wind speeds here are looking calm. I'll be back with much more coming up in just a bit. Ken?
All right, thanks very much, Derek. It is 6:40 a.m. on this Friday morning. Coming up in our Buzz Report, Trevor Noah bidding farewell to The Daily Show on Thursday night. That and more when we come back.
Well, we continue to watch the snowy weather come down, mainly focused around our southern zones is where we're seeing some of that heavier snow. But if we move the camera here a little bit towards the north, you can see that we are looking at some of that heavy snow now starting to move into areas like La Crosse County, as well as portions of southern Trempealeau and into Winona County here as well. Didn't forget about you guys here in Monroe County looking at some light to moderate snow now pushing its way towards the north in your general direction here too. And more is coming associated with this low pressure system back towards the west, and you can see it spawning a lot of snow heading into the general direction of us here in the Coulee region. City Cam 8 right now definitely looking gloomy. Visibilities are lowering as the snow continues to move its way towards the north. So make sure to take your time out there. Give yourself plenty of time really for that morning commute, as conditions are definitely going to go downhill between now and at least those late morning hours. It's 30 degrees now in La Crosse with that snowy weather ongoing. Check out the visibility report coming in now, 1 mile. So yeah, it's not looking good there for that commute. 4.77 feet and is the river stage, which is rising here this morning. 26 degrees, cloudy skies here now in Eau Claire. Definitely a feel-like temperature of 18 degrees when you factor in the east winds at around 8 miles an hour. No snow here yet as visibilities coming in at around 10 miles. 10 to 20 degrees of a warmer difference here this morning across the Coulee region. That's because this time we are waking up to current temperature readings into the upper 20s to low 30s, and our forecast highs today should be rising into the mid 30s here this afternoon. 36 today in both La Crosse and Eau Claire. It will be 35 today in in Winona, and 35 this afternoon in Sparta as well. All right, let's break down your day planner. That snow will continue through much of the early morning into the early afternoon hours as well, and then cloudy skies late afternoon and also into early this evening. And you can see that snow continuing to pull its way towards the north, really affecting just about everybody here in the Coulee region. Come later this morning around the 8 o'clock hour, and then it will continue through at least the early noon hour. It's around the afternoon, around that afternoon to 12 to 1 p.m. time frame is when we can expect most of the snow to come to a close. 3 o'clock, a lot of it ends. A few snow showers here across the eastern zones, though. And then by this evening, we're really just left over with cloudy skies. The majority of the snowy weather and bad weather in general should clear out. And you can see that cloudy weather conditions will continue here for the most part in general as we head into the overnight hours before another system moves in tomorrow. That could give us a few showers, maybe even a little bit of snow here up towards north tomorrow morning. And then that may continue into the early afternoon hours as well, while most of the snow should be focused north. A few showers here possible across the rest of the Coulee region, which could last into early tomorrow evening hours as well. Winter weather advisories in effect here for some of us across the upper Midwest, which does include here the Coulee region, to at least 3 o'clock this afternoon. And the reason being is because we are expecting some snowfall totals around here. 4 to 6 inches here to the south, 2 to 4 inches in the La Crosse area, 1 to 3 inches north of La Crosse, and about Coatings here just south of Eau Claire is what we're expecting here as far as the snowfall totals go. 8-day forecast shows us that we will be looking at maybe a little bit of a wintry mix here, as we mentioned, for tomorrow. We'll keep our eyes on that. Otherwise, cloudy skies for the weekend, and that may continue into early next week on Monday. Highs into the low 40s. Chances of rain, snow early next week, Tuesday and Wednesday as well.
In our Buzz Report this morning, Buckingham Palace says it will not be commenting on Harry and Meghan Markle's documentary series on Netflix. The first 3 episodes of the docuseries was released Thursday. The episodes follow the couple from the start of their relationship, the media exposure they've experienced, and the death of Harry's mother, Princess Diana. Netflix also noted within the series that members of the British royal family declined to comment on the content. 3 more episodes are expected to be out next week. Singer Celine Dion is postponing several tour dates in Europe after the recent diagnosis of a rare neurological disorder. The 54-year-old Grammy winner announced she has stiff person syndrome, a rare progressive syndrome that affects the nervous system. She said she's working hard with her sports medicine therapist every day to build back her strength and ability to perform again. Dion's shows in spring for 2023 will be rescheduled to 2024. Now, 8 summer 2023 shows will be outright canceled. And Trevor Noah saying goodbye to his viewers on The Daily Show Thursday evening. He announced he was leaving back in September. The 38-year-old comedian had been hosting the show since 2015 when he took over for the longtime host, Jon Stewart. It's time is 6:48 a.m. Let's head to break with today's Look Who's 8.
That's right, Ken. We got a handful of birthdays to celebrate, and our first one is Sachel, who is turning 8 today. He likes to play with his dog, play football, and hang out with his friends.
Nice hobbies. A happy 80th birthday to Bob. Bob enjoys wagon trail rides, being outdoors, and spending time with his family.
Happy 88th to Marion. She is a role model to everyone she knows, active and loves spending time with her grandchildren.
And a happy 88th birthday to Janet. She is a great-grandma to 30-plus grandchildren. She enjoys teaching her family how to make her amazing potato dumplings.
Very cool. And last but not least, want to wish a happy birthday to you, Ken. Now, Ken is turning 28 today. He's unfortunately a Packers fan. I'm sorry, Ken, this season.
Absolutely.
I don't know what it is. He loves his 2 dogs, and he's an avid movie fan. What's your favorite movie, by the way?
Ooh, that's tough. On the spot, probably Inception is up there. Moneyball, maybe the best sports movie. Right. Christmas Vacation for the holiday season.
There you go.
But yes,
exactly.
avid movie fan. Derek, thanks so much for doing this. I appreciate it, my man.
Absolutely. And if you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we love to feature them here.
Yep, just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com. Look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website. Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is next. All right, time for your Morning News Now. You heard it this entire hour. Snow is coming. Since we're expecting around a few inches of snow, the city of La Crosse putting alternate side parking into effect. So a reminder for drivers: on odd-numbered days, park on the side of the road with odd-numbered addresses. And on even-numbered days, park on the side with even-numbered addresses. Those rules stay in effect for the full snow emergency, and the city says they will notify the public 6 hours before a snow emergency is declared. You can get those notifications in your email, through text, or by keeping an eye on the city's social media pages. We have a link with how you can sign up for alerts at news8000.com. A quick reminder to check the bottom of your screen to see if your school has any delays or closings this morning. Your school superintendent is tasked with submitting up-to-date information to our school closings page on our website, and we take everything that's submitted there and put it on the bottom of your screen. So if you don't see your school either today or on future bad weather days, be sure to reach out to your school administrator to make sure they're submitting information to our station. A helpful tool to prep for your morning commute these days is 511wi.gov. The Wisconsin DOT is constantly updating it with road conditions across the state. This time of year, just click the box labeled winter road conditions and you can see what condition they're on in the moment. Black River Falls rideshare taxi service has shut down. December 1st, Mobility Transformation Inc., the company that was operating the service, told city officials it would be shutting it down. According to City Administrator Brad Chown, that service was used by a large number of seniors and people with disabilities.
We had about 20,000 rides that were given. In the past, 2019 was our peak. We were offering about 40,000 rides at that time.
FDS Enterprises operated the taxi service previously. Chown says city officials have reached out to FDS and are hoping they will take over the service again. FDS Enterprises have agreed to negotiate with MTI and buy the company. MTI has verbally agreed, but that is still not official. You can catch the magic of the holiday season this weekend at Viterbo's Fine Arts Center. The La Crosse Dance Center's 33rd annual performance of the Nutcracker starts today, with 95 cast members of all ages bringing the classic story to life. Work on each show begins in August, and the director says it's been wonderful to watch.
Because it's going to be just a huge expression of joy, and it's so wonderful for everyone on stage and in the audience to come together and share the time in the space and share the story.
Balsamo says some of the dancing looks different this year, but it's the same familiar holiday story. If you'd like to see the show, you can buy tickets at the Viterbo box office or online. We posted a link with more information at news8000.com. Bringing home happiness. The Coulee Region Humane Society and Best Friends Animal Society are teaming up for National Adoption Weekend. Starting today through December 18th, you can name your price for all kittens, cats, and dogs older than 6 months. The promotion also includes small animals like bunnies and guinea pigs. To participate in the event, you'll need to fill out an application and get approved.
And snowy weather continues to move in across the Coulee region now as we speak. Visibilities are being reduced as that snow moves in as well. It looks like we start to see the snow end though as we head into the early afternoon. And then later today, skies just looking cloudy, highs around 35 degrees.
Oh man, just waiting for that stuff to clear up. Thanks so much, Derek. And don't forget to keep up with the news of the day and the weather of the day on news8000.com. The First Warn Weather app is going to be a big tool. 511wi.gov for traffic conditions. And of course, we will have the latest updates to the weather and news on News 8 Now at noon. That's Derek Sibley. I'm Ken Kozrowski saying thanks so much for joining us this morning. Have a great day and a great weekend.